What's going on, everybody? Upstate NY Blade Collector. Thanks for stopping into the channel. Today marks the first day officially of fall, and some hunting seasons are open in New York right now. So I thought maybe I'd go over some hunting knives, old and new, and maybe things that aren't really designated as a hunting knife, but that do the job quite nicely. Usually in the woods, I'll carry a folder, just a normal everyday pocket knife for normal small tasks. But then I'll carry a hunting knife. Usually it's a fixed blade, but I've been getting into these folding hunters more. And then, there's some other options that we're going to talk about as well. But when you're looking for a hunting knife, there's a lot of different factors that you want to take into account. What are you hunting for? This has been one of the best deer hunting knives out there, but you probably wouldn't want to take it for grouse or rabbit. You would probably want something more like this little Linder, something very small. So you want to size your knife to your game. And with that being said, I had somebody the other day ask me, how big of a knife do you use when you're hunting? Is it something like this? I'm like, no, you don't need a big knife. Typically, for deer at least, you want to be able to have your finger to the point of the blade, so that you can guide it under the hide. You don't need a Rambo knife, a Bowie knife, anything crazy like that. Like even, honestly, I would say this is probably even too big. This is an old Schrade Walden 147. I would say that's even too big. But we're just going to kind of go through the line here and show off some different styles, and maybe talk about what they're best for, in my opinion. So we got two little guys here. This one's a new production Queen City. So this is a China knife, but very easy to get your finger to the tip. Very thin blade on it, so that makes it really good for small game. It is only a 3-finger grip for me, which I'm not a big fan of, but it was relatively inexpensive. This was a gift from my friend George. He just happened to give this to me one day, and the sheath is black leather. It's a pretty awesome little gift. Made in Germany. Stainless inox stag handle, and it's just a beautiful little size. It is a 3-finger knife, but it is a beautiful, beautiful little knife. Perfect for small game. I could use this for deer easily. Beautiful little knife. Back. This is a Moore Maker out of Texas. This might be a little bit too big for field dressing a deer, but for the butchering process, which I do, me and my friends, we do our own butchering. It would be a very nice knife to have, especially with that belly. It would be a great slicer when you're butchering. The Schrade PH2. This isn't even just a hunting knife for me. This is an EDC option for me. I absolutely love this knife. It'll definitely get the job done. Are there better options for hunting? Yeah. Like the Schrade Sharpfinger. I mean, we talked about those a little bit ago. Everybody knows the Sharpfinger. A lot of people have had them. It's the 152 OT. They came in a whole bunch of different configurations. I think I've seen them with stag handles. I picked up this orange one because an orange knife is always good in the woods. But the Sharpfinger is a classic skinning knife that a lot of hunters have carried and still do, because it does the job quite well. We talked about this a little bit. This is an old Schrade Walden. Honestly, it's too big in my opinion, but for the butchering process, it would be quite nice because it does have that nice belly on it. I wouldn't carry it into the woods, I don't think. This is a little project that I'm doing. This is a Remington RH4. I'm cleaning it up. I've got to get this little chip out of the tip here, and then it's missing the bone on one side. You can see it right there. So I think I'm going to redo these handle scales in mule deer antler, and that's a nice size for a hunting knife. The only thing, I got to find a sheath for it. Same thing with this. I have to find a sheath for this. This is a Queen number 82. Great made knife, tough as nails. I gotta find a sheath for it is all. This is one of my absolute favorites. This is the Buck 102. They call it the Woodsman. And I have the original leather sheath for this, and I have a Kydex sheath for this. And it's just a great size, beautiful knife. And I mean, if you know anything about buck, you know that they're tough and they hold an edge great. This is my recent trade with HT. It's a skinning / bushcraft knife, and I'm gonna take it out in the woods this year for sure. Get to see how she does. But I really like that. If you didn't see the video on this, I believe it was one video ago. I go more into depth on that. This was a cheap Rough Rider, like $10 cheap. So I'm actually going to end up modifying it. I'm going to completely remove this rear spur, and I'm going to bring this one, I'm going to shave this down probably 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, and then it'll be somewhat decent for me. But yeah, it was $10, so I'm not expecting the world out of it, but I'm comfortable enough to turn it into what I'm looking for. And then there's only 2 more fixed blades. This isn't so much a hunting knife as just something I throw in my hunting pack. It's a Mora Eldris. Real short blade, beautiful grind on it, but the handle is big enough for a 4-finger grip, and it comes in this plastic sheath that clicks in, and you got water drainage holes. There's no belt sheath to this. They make a kit. It's like a leather band, and you can turn it into like a neck knife, or you could loop cord through here and make it a neck knife. I don't do that. I just throw this in my back, and any kind of tough cutting chore, I just kind of break it out and do whatever I need to with it. Great little knife. Absolutely love all the Moras. They're tough as nails, and they're usually relatively inexpensive. This is a Maxim. It came in some kind of a kit that I got once upon a time. It's a T-handle, big belly Skinner with a gut hook. I don't really find the need for a gut hook. It just gets in the way, and I don't like it. But for skinning, this is nice, especially when you have gloves on. It just kind of locks in naturally to your hand. Now we're going to get into some folders. There's a lot of different folding hunters out there, and there's a lot of folding knives that people use for hunting, and we're just going to kind of go over a little bit of that. So this is a Rough Rider Reserve. I believe they called this the Huntsman. It's a RRR 007. It's made in D2, but beautiful knife. Nice micarta handles. It's got that arrow shield. It is a lockback. I threw that leather lanyard on it, and I have used this thing like crazy, and it holds up. The fit and finish is great, and it's a great mid-size folding hunter. This one here is a Bear USA. It's got Mac tools on it. It came with a nylon sheath. It's got this over-molded rubber handle, which if you squeeze it, it will squish together. But very comfortable 4-finger grip. Good size blade for all your in the field needs. I don't know if they still make that one. This one here is a Boker folding hunter in D2. JC Mountain Ajar gifted this one to me. JC, I appreciate you. I'll make a video when I have it on me out in the woods. But going back to the orange for in the woods so that you don't lose it, man, you ain't losing that thing. The only step up from that is glow in the dark. That thing is going to stick out in any environment. But I absolutely love this thing. So JC, thank you. I'll make sure it gets some good use this year. To keep on with the folding hunters, this is a Uncle Henry 227 UH. It's got the Staggelon handles. These things come with a pretty decent leather belt sheath. Haven't had this one out in the woods an awful lot, but hopefully I get to do a fair amount of hunting this year, to the point where I'll be able to use these. Let's see, we'll stick with Schrade for right now. This is a single blade 125 OT with the classic Schrade old timer handles. No Skinner blade on this, just the clip point. So it is thinner. I'll show you a little comparison. It is thinner, a lot thinner than the Uncle Henry. But that's kind of been a little beat around. You know, if I want to take a folding hunter to work, I'll take that. I'm going to start taking this instead, because I just got this a little bit ago. This is a Marbles red jig bone, and it is a lockback. This was like a $20 knife, so I don't really care if I beat the absolute crap out of it. But there's no blade wiggle, up, down, in and out. So that's gonna be my new beat around knife. Then you got still a folding hunter, but a different style. So you get into like the Buck 110, Buck 112, Schrade LB7, LB5, those kinds of knives. Single blade lockback. This one's, I believe, made by Frost. Ocoee River. I probably just butchered that. But this is a very thin single blade lockback. This is another take it to work and beat it up knife, because this was, I want to say, $22. This one's been out in the woods with me quite a bit. This is a Uncle Henry LB8 single blade lockback, the classic Staglon handles. You can tell it's got all kinds of patina on the brass. I've had this thing out in the snow, in the rain. Yeah, I've had this thing all over the place. A lot of memories with that one. But I got this one because, as much as I love that one, who doesn't love Stag? So this is the Schrade Plus Heritage HO70. I haven't had this one out in the woods yet, but it's got some thick Stag on it. I got this one from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. They actually had them listed at like $75, and then they dropped them down to like $30, and it didn't come with a sheath. So I picked up the sheath. I forget who makes it, but it is a horizontal sheath, just like that. And that's how that pretty much lives its life. This is a Schrade. This is a Skull Edition, but it's the LB5. A little bit smaller, you know, if you're going for squirrels or, you know, something small game. I mean, this would work with big game as well, but it's definitely more suited for small game. And then some knives that are just staples in the hunting community. The Case full-size Sodbuster. She's a big knife. If you put it up against the Schrade LB8, it's just a hair shorter. But that belly in that blade makes skinning an ease. It's great, and it's lightweight. These ones with the normal, I guess I'll say old school handles, plastic handles, are thicker than the ones that are more popular today with the bone, and that makes a big difference. You know, you gotta think about having gloves on, things like that. But that's not officially a hunting knife, but it works great for that application. This is a full-size Case Trapper that I got from Brother Ryan. I believe it's a 2015. But beautiful amber jig bone handles, stainless steel blades. This spade blade is great for skinning, and then of course you have a clip point blade that you could use for field dressing. I made Ryan a promise that these beautiful handles would have a red tinge to them by the time Christmas came. But I usually do have a trapper on me in the woods. One that I want to try and find, I want to get a carbon steel full size copper lock. This would be a great size for deer hunting as well. Again, it's thin. It's a lot thinner than, you know, say your LB7, and it's not as big, but I mean, it would definitely get the job done. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try and hunt down the carbon steel version of this. And then I got this rust lock. My first rust lock ever, and I'm not overly impressed. However, I was using it at work the other day trying to determine if I like it. I don't like this knife. The only thing that I could think of is, so I'll show you. That blade is at an angle, right? The only thing that I can think of it being good for is field dressing. That's it. I don't like having the blade at a forward angle from what I'm doing. I don't know. Maybe I'll try that and keep it, but I foresee this one going on the for sale for trade block. So if you like it, let me know. It's got the saw cut Caribbean blue bone handles, stainless steel. It's only cut a couple boxes open. That's it. But so that's the majority of my hunting knife collection. You know, if you're just starting out and you're looking to buy a hunting knife, best thing I can say is ask people what they carry in the woods and ask to hold it, because that's really the only way that you're going to find the right knife for you, is to actually put it in your hand, you know, kind of go through the motions and feel it out. But as you can see, there's a lot of different options. And you know, like Case makes a folding hunter, and if you don't like jigged brown Delrin, you can get jigged red bone. You can get just about any color you want. But the main thing is how it feels in the hand and keeping it sharp. That's a big one. I didn't even bring out any of like my pocket sharpeners or anything like that. I always carry a sharpener in the woods just in case. Maybe we can do that in the next few days. We'll make a sharpener video. But hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, subscribe. Most importantly, get it out there, buy yourself a quality knife and use it. Y'all have a good one.